I was speaking with a friend today, and the idea of dude rules came up in the conversation. Her son had a set of rules, a code to live by, which I thought was admirable since he's only 7. Personally, I didn't have a code until I hit my teens, and even then it was at best questionable and mostly based on one day getting laid. "What kind of rules?" I asked. "Don't yell across the room at your mother," she said. "That's a start," I said. "Your rules or his?" "Open doors," she said. Hers, I thought. This made the rules slightly less admirable, but the fact that he was willing to embrace the rules at his age at all was still rather remarkable. When I was 7, all I wanted to do was play with dirt and pee out of doors. When I was a much younger man and had yet to enter the caged octagon known as fatherhood, I imagined that all I ever really wanted in a child was someone I could cuff in the head when they were stupid, and to master throwing and hitting a hanging curveball, and to impart all of my fatherly wisdom, especially when it came to things like common sense, etiquette, and the delicate heart-shattering minefield known as the fair sex. When I was in turn blessed with not one, but 2 lovely young girls as my only offspring, I figured that all the grand knowledge and man wisdom that I had accrued over the decades would most likely go to waste, which was a tragedy, pure and simple. Then blogs came along. You see, I now have a way to share my wizened perspective with others, and I try to do so at every opportunity. When I'm not busy writing about doomsday, the dangers of wildlife, the sea, and circus clowns, or taking an introspective look at my digestive system and its seriously faulty wiring, I try to offer helpful tips and common sense strategies for maintaining a civil society. This includes being a decent human being and not a savage, which is more difficult than it sounds apparently. I read every day about rape and murder and senseless assault in our own backyard and around the globe, and I wonder, what in the name of Jehoshaphat is going on around here? Then I realized we have no distinct moral compass, no code. In a world that is now based on instant gratification and an obsession with worldly goods and money, there is seemingly no room for common sense and decency, nor the time to teach it. Kids are learning their grammar by texting, their manners from cartoons, and their ambition from video games. I began to think about rules and codes to live by, and figured that I ought to try to sit down and write a set, a sort of constitution for boys, to give a roadmap for behavior and perhaps provide some much-needed guidance for the wastrels that are growing up like stringy, half-witted weeds all around us. The youth of our nation weighs in the balance. Keep your junk clean. Clean junk is the only kind to have. It makes you feel better, it doesn't itch as much, and you never know when an emergency might come up and you might need it to save a life. Put the lid down. This might not save a life, but it's just good form, like chewing with your mouth shut and taking your hat off at the dinner table. Don't scratch your nuts in front of others. We're not animals after all. Find a counter or a couch to stand behind, then take care of your business. You'll look retarded, but you won't look like a savage. Spit only outside. Unless there was a sink or a garbage can close by, try to refrain. Same goes with covering a nostril and blowing snot out the other. You never know where it's going to go. Just do it outside. Don't call women bitches or hoes, especially around women. Have a little respect. The vagina is magic. Treat it with reverence. But do not make eye contact. Remember, your friend's nuts have feelings too. That's right, calm the down. Until you've been kicked there yourself, just keep your kids on the floor, period. Baseball is just as fun as football, only more subtle and much less violent. Learn baseball, and you learn life. Don't fart when there are girls around, unless you're absolutely certain that it's going to be silent. And even then, make sure there's a dog around to blame it on. Breasts are fun. Treat them with reverence. But again, don't look them in the eye. Learn to palm a quarter. It will eventually get you laid. This is a throwback to my teenage code, but it has served me well, lo these many years. Learn to palm a quarter.